Oh, Seven Citizens Black here from Casa Black Gaming, where my guides, reviews, and news are all made with you, the viewer, in mind, so as to not waste your time, so you can get back out into the verse. Now today I wanted to put up a top 10 list of daily driver ships in the verse, but what exactly is a daily driver, and how did it make this list? Well, before I get to that, let me first ask that if you liked this video and feel like I deserve it afterward, if you just hit those little buttons down below, or comment to let me know what your preferred daily driver is, or cuss me out for not having yours on this list, and feel free to do so. And with those channel advertisements out of the way, let's get to it. Well, this answer is different depending on your playstyle, so I did not create any specific definitions of what a daily driver is, but I simply asked on Reddit what people were flying, so the majority of this list was created based on that post and what people commented on there. This was not a poll, and I certainly did not count how many times any specific ship was mentioned, but with this list I wanted to bring the gist of what people were flying, and if they mention why they liked said ship, I'll mention that and its uses as well, and hopefully this list will help newer players who are thinking of spending either their hard-earned dollars or their hard-earned time in-game on a ship that will best fulfill their needs. So let's get to the list in no particular order here. Alright, so I own a few of the ships on this list, and those will admittedly have better footage than the stock footage you will see on those I do not own, such as the 400i. Now this is a ship I wished I did own, but sadly did not buy it when it came out during last year's CitizenCon 2021 as a surprise direct-to-flight ship. What can I say about this ship that has not been said already? If you go to any ship meetup with more than 10 to 15 players, you'll no doubt see one of these, as I did here at this meetup. This ship is pure styling hotness, which in my opinion mirrors a very classic take from Earth's own automotive industry, with sleek looking ports that are reminiscent of classic cars from the 50s and 60s, and an overall shape that just screams drag race. This ship looks and feels like something George Lucas himself would have put in Star Wars, but it's not just a head turner. This ship has some decent defensive capabilities and weapons to fend off would-be attackers for a luxury small cruise ship, and a size 3 shield generator, which makes you think this ship could safely transport high-ranking government officials without worry of pirates kidnapping them. But what makes it a daily driver? Well, with 42 SCU of cargo space and an easy to access drop-down platform, this ship offers up the ability to bring along smaller ground vehicles like the Cyclones or hover cycles, but not necessarily the rock mining vehicle, which might be a deal breaker for some trying to use this as a daily driver if mining is something you do daily. But as many on Reddit said, this ship's handling, especially with the atmosphere, making going down to do cargo missions quite easy and being able to shoo away enemies who might pop out of nowhere to attack you, and its quick speed make this a ship that so many use to get around the verse, including being a good ship to just take a few mates along for bunkers or new derelict missions. The 400i is a very capable ship and proves that just because something's beautiful does not mean it can't be put to daily work. Now everyone's idea of what a daily driver is might be different, but when I think of a daily driver, I think of a Swiss Army knife of a vehicle that can be a jack-of-all-trades type of ship. And there are 3 ship series that come to mind, with the Freelancer Series being one of those 3. The other 2 will appear later in this list. The Freelancer series of ships offers up something for everyone. If you want more cargo or the ability to transport ground vehicles with ease, including up to 2 Ursa rovers, go with the Max. If you want a ship that can take care of pirates or bounties, go with the Miss. Or if exploration will be more your thing later on when it becomes more of a thing, go with the Dur and enjoy that larger fuel tank. This ship series is a great daily driver and offers up very early multiplayer options for newer citizens, so your buddies can get in on some of the fun as well and bring along their own stuff so they feel like a valued member of the crew and not just sponging off of your wealth. Now, one of the things that truly sets the Freelancer series apart from others in its class is a little bit more style points, but also more of an emphasis on longer travels, which will come in handy in Pyro, as trips will certainly begin to take longer and new metas will be born. I honestly believe the Freelancer series, which at the moment might have some decent competition from a very close price-pointed rival, will soon leave that rival in the dust due to having the longer trip mentality, which we have yet to need. All will be revealed in 4.0. What daily driver have you placed your bets with? Well, don't put any money down yet, as we're still very early in this list. For now, those of you who own any of the Freelancer ships, rest easy knowing your future looks bright. I recently did a few videos on the Nomad, and my opinion on this little space truck was certainly changed. While I do not prefer it over some of the other similar options around its price point, I do very much see the appeal and think for the money, it's a very capable little ship and deserves to be on this list, as there were many on Reddit who absolutely use this ship as their daily driver, and who can blame them? For $80 real cash, you can have a ship that can get you around the verse and with a rock in its cargo hold. I mean, that's crazy for the price. You also get a kitchen, which points in the direction that this is a ship you can live on, even if the fuel tank is not big enough to make very long distance travels a thing for you. But being able to be out mining and having the ability to bed log if you need be, or with persistence becoming more of a thing, you will not have to worry about losing your hard-earned mining load. The Nomad makes for a great daily driver, especially for those new players who are working their way up and who want a cheap option to break out into multiple gameplay loops. Now, this is not a ship that was on my radar, so when it kept popping up on the Reddit thread, I had to dig in and find out what makes this thing so special. I've seen many streamers use it as a daily driver, and so I guess I should not be surprised by its inclusion here, but let's discuss what I was educated about from my fellow Redditors. To begin with, it's a two-person ship that can really move, as in it's one of the fastest ships in the game, and has a very quick QT cooldown as well. The ramp comes down in the front, so you have a good sight line on land obstructions without getting out of the ship or swinging your camera around. Not a huge cargo space, but room for one SCU cargo boxes, which makes this ideal and really great for doing cargo missions. And with 2 beds and a 2-seat cockpit, it's one of the smallest multiplayer ships you can fly, so bringing along a friend is an added plus for a ship of this size. And as someone stated, it's like a hatchback, which, being someone who literally was able to move a couch down my street using a hatchback car, I know the value of such a thing. Banu Defender, the hatchback of the verse, now I kinda want one. My wallet thanks thee, my wife not so much. This is one that so many new players will have as a day one ship, and if it's the only ship they ever own outright, it will be their every day one ship after a wipe. So of course it's on this list because of just how many people own and use this thing daily and its many uses. Not only does it fly like a dream, something of which I'm always surprised by every single time I fly this thing after a few months of letting it collect space dust bunnies, but it's also very capable as a daily bounty and cargo runner, and since it also has a bed, it's one of those ships that you can just can't go wrong with. The ship also has a very short claim time on it, making it one of those ships that when you need to just go meet up with someone and don't feel like waiting for one of your larger ships to reclaim, you can get it and go and get to where you need to be, whether that's to try and get your stuff back or quickly go pick up a friend. The Aegis Avenger Titan is the go-to daily driver for countless citizens in the verse. Flies great, less filling, awesome little ship. Alright, so we're now halfway through our list, and so if you're hoping your favorite daily driver is going to make an appearance, your chance to see it is getting slimmer. And some of you might have thought the MSR would not make the list, but I'm here to tell you that even with its crazy, insanely terrible fuel economy, it still makes the list because so many people just want to fly this thing around as a daily driver, even if they might skip a few days in between or have something else they use more often. I still heard from quite a few people who, even though they might feel guilty taking it out, they still do and love flying it. Not only is it super smooth to fly, but it has good boost when needed, one of my favorite cargo bays to drive up into, and having smuggler holds will make this expensive to fly ship used more often, I think, with the illegal cargo missions coming up with this next patch. Will the rewards for being a smuggler be taken into consideration to support the higher fuel quantities you'll be purchasing to smuggle safely? I guess we'll see. Probably not, but we'll see. But regardless, if you want to not get caught when transporting said cargo, you will definitely be using only a handful of ships, with the MSR being one of the more prominent ones. And let's not even get into when data mining becomes a thing in the game. You will definitely see more MSRs used as daily drivers then, and I have a feeling when we get to Pyro, things will get even more interesting and MSRs will quickly become the favorites of those who own the MISC Starfarer refueling ships, or should we call them the AAA of the verse. Now during the Invictus week, I tried out this little ship, or actually the C8X Expedition version actually, and I have to say that I was blown away by this ship and how well it handles both in flight and in earlier tiered bounty quests, not to mention how dang easy it is to get on board and go. Despite its small size, it was mentioned a couple of times on the Reddit post, and I can easily see why, and not surprised to see it mentioned. Being capable to carry 2 additional passengers also is a merit and makes this an easy ship to enjoy with others. If ever there was a Starfleet shuttlecraft that docked into a larger starship, that is exactly what this ship is, especially being more reminiscent of the Next Generation shuttlecraft from that TV series. And just like in those episodes, this little ship should easily enable some hijinks in the future, but for now, for some, it is just an awesome, quick, claimable daily driver to get around smoothly in. Alright, well I think I held off on this one as long as I possibly could. You guys knew the Cutlass Series was going to make an appearance, and why shouldn't it? Its 4 variants offers up some really cool choices in gameplay, with more features to come, which will make an argument for this series to become even better, and that's not even counting the confirmed gold status pass that will be coming presumably soonish for this series of ships. Sure, it's not a head turner, and duct tape jokes aside, it's still very much widely used by players in the verse, and easily one of the most popular, and for good reason. It might not have a kitchen, but it offers up great gameplay, and that it's got a decent weapons loadout, cargo storage, and a ramp to easily drive up ground vehicles to take with you, making it one of the first ships to get players into mining, and thus making it a great daily driver. Now toss into the mix the Cutlass Red, which has a medical bed which only does minor healing, but more importantly for many, it refreshes your food and hydrates you, making it a great ship for cave, bunkers, and derelict missions. Now the Cutty Blue might not have its live bounty hunting gameplay loop in game yet, but it is on the horizon, and once in game, will push that variant up into the stratosphere in terms of use as well. And let's not forget the wee-oh factor both the red and blue bring to the table. Yeah, the Cutty is definitely a great daily driver for those in the know. Wow, so holy crap, this video is going longer than most of mine. And speaking of things that go on longer, here comes the Carrack, which was mentioned in the Reddit post. Sure, it's super expensive to buy, fly, or shoot, but some people swear by it and have found a reason to keep it spotted around the verse. Maybe it's the region bed, allowing players the chance to respawn close by. Maybe it's the dreamy interior or non-functioning stellar cartography room. Perhaps it's all that cargo space, or the fact that you can land the number 4 ship on this list, the Pisces, into a freaking hangar on the deck of the ship. This is yet another ship that we will only see more of in the future expansion of the other systems being added into the game, and one of the few larger ships that I myself would actually ever consider owning if I had enough use for it and players to go with it. I'm a fan of the bridge layout, and as more and more gameplay loops come online, I definitely think we'll see this become a true daily driver, especially for small group play. So while I think it's more of a novelty daily driver that stretches the definition for many for now, it's probably going to truly earn that distinction, and much sooner than probably we know. So real seriously now, before we get to the number 1 daily driver on the list, I just wanted to say that according to YouTube analytics, only like 3% of you are subscribed who watch my videos. And I was like, holy heck fire, 3%? That's like way more than I thought. So yeah, thank you guys so much for subbing and helping make my channel grow. And now on to the number 1 on the list. Not known to be attractive to many, although I find it absolutely stunning. Even with all of its clunkiness, the Constellation series of ships offers up some awesome, robust fun and utility, and gives players the feeling of owning something big without the huge cost, and with a few different options to choose from. You can get exactly what you want and need from a daily driver without breaking the bank, either in-game or out. I myself own the Taurus, and it felt like a true graduation from ships like the Cutlass or the Freelancers. At times when I am solo, it almost feels like too much ship for me as a solo player, but I appreciate that I can still solo it very well if need be, and yet wreck stuff if I invite others to join me. If I want to do trade, I have a very capable cargo hold of making some decent money with some pretty mid-sized hauls. If I want to grab a Ursa rover or a couple of rocks so me and my buddies can go mine together, that's an option. If I want to hide cargo similar to the MSR, I can hide stuff in a protected hold. If we want to do some bounties, those size 4 or 5s can tear up some NPCs, including including late tiered bounties. If you have the other 3 variants, you can also get a snub ship that docks in the back for even more utility as a daily driver. This ship is not the #1 best daily driver, it's just occupying that spot on this list, but it is definitely one that I see more out and about in the larger class of ships than some of the others, and for me, I enjoyed it even with the slow Atmo flight and very slow roll turning. Alright, so what say you? Did your daily driver make this list? If you're new and wanting to upgrade, did this video help you land on a decision? I've got more in-depth reviews on most of these ships on the list, with separate loadouts available with recommended components and weapons as well, so if you need to dive deeper into some of these ships, make sure to check out my channel and let me know down in the comments how I can be of help. Now remember to be kind to your fellow gamer, enjoy the ship you enjoy without judgment from others, and stay positive, citizens.